Don't blink, it's your Blink. Welcome to the show. We're doing well on this 15th February 2025. You can see that we have a wonderful sunlight. It's gonna be a fun day. Today is a special subject. Today is another video for the gaming channel, and it's Devil May Cry. I think I have a pimple. Want to pop a pimple with me live? Okay, cool. Let's freaking do it. We're gamers. Doesn't really matter, right? Popped a pimple live, baby. So yes, Devil May Cry. The reason why we're making a Devil May Cry video was because I didn't realize how much Devil May Cry meant to me until we played Devil May Cry Peak of Combat yesterday. And I know a lot of people are gonna say this is a scam. This game is a scam. I'm not promoting the game, but it made me realize how much Devil May Cry meant to me, right? As a theory, I think Devil May Cry is the only series that I've loved completely from the first game to the last game, right? From even the remake. But I did a video about Devil May Cry, but I never did a video about how it got into me. So Devil May Cry. Well, actually, it's funny. There's two games that happen the same thing. Okay, so the first video we're gonna do it very shortly. I know it's Devil May Cry, but it's Borderland pre-sequel. I'm at my friend's house. We're playing Borderland. I don't know what the name of the game is. I don't ask him, but it's a really fun game. And then later on, I end up looking for a game that was cheap to buy. I bought the Item Collection that was $29 for two games. I was like, it's a lot of DLCs. I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. And Borderlands 2 is probably the game that I played the most. So this is something that happened. With Devil May Cry, there's a very similar story. So I'm going to this daycare, and this daycare is phenomenal because the woman's in charge. She has kids, and they're in their 20s, right? And no, they're not in their 20s. They're possibly in high school, and I'm 6, 7 years old, right? So they're cool to me, and they're gamers. And I was like, holy shit, it's possible to be cool and a gamer. My hair's are long. It's getting out of control. It's getting out of control. So I go in, and I'm in love with Zelda. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, right? I'm in love with it. So I continue and I continue and I continue, and I ask the guy, and one day he says, yo, I want to show you a game. And he showed me Devil May Cry 3. And he showed me the pizza, the restaurant scene. And I see the game and I see the graphics, I'm like, ugh, no thank you. No thank you, because now I moved on. I moved on to a game like Kingdom Hearts, and I'm like, holy shit, Kingdom Hearts is awesome. Devil May Cry pales in comparison, right? And it's weird because he plays this game and he's showing me how much he unlocked, and he unlocked everything, right? I'm like, okay, well, you unlock everything. What's the point of playing the game, right? And funny thing is, years later, I have this PS4. My father buys me a PS3. Sorry. And I'm looking for a game to buy. So there's not an eBay games in the machine where I live. There's not an eBay games. I don't drive. So we go to a store that is called The Source, which is really close to my house, which doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist. They replaced it. They sold it. Yeah, I bought a lot of phone there. I bought a lot of things there. Crazy. They replaced it for a vaccination center. Mm. So, our chocolates too. Our chocolate. Yeah. So, long story short, what ended up happening is I buy Devil May Cry 4. I'm like, holy shit, what a good game. And I fell in love with Devil May Cry 4. I fell in love with it. The general ambiance. And I gotta say, Devil May Cry 4, out of the whole series, is my favorite game. I love Nero. I love Nero. Like, to a point where you guys don't even understand. But the game in itself was so phenomenal. So you got this guy, and again, I'm not gonna tell the story. You know what? I'm gonna tell the story of every single game. It's gonna be a very reverse story. But weirdly speaking, Devil May Cry 4 was the perfect game to start with. Because if you is the only game that doesn't have to do with the main storyline. So for example, right, you still look at the first one. Okay, so Devil May Cry. Second one, Devil May Cry. Third one, Devil May Cry. Fourth one, A Sanctuary. With Nero. Fifth one, Devil May Cry. Right? And it's amazing and like holy shit. So the fourth one, what I really enjoyed was the fact that it was a church, right? And it was a church, and you got this character called Nero, and he's going to the church and he's defeating devil, right? and then you go to this, and the whole time you're hearing. I want to make you guys listen to it because it's so good. Sorry, guys. We'll be right back. We Okay, perfect. Because I think it adds a lot to the story. But basically, you got Kyrie. You guys know Kyrie, right? Devil May Cry 4 song. But tomorrow, I don't know. No, that's not it. Prologue song with lyrics. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, this is the exact moment. I'm sorry to go, guys. I'm making a video. Look at this. So this is Nero. This is Kairi. Very Final Fantasy-esque, right? And look at the voice. Just look at the voice. Dude. And you see Nero killing the devil, right? Right? This is insane. This is insane. I'm sorry, guys. We're back. Um, so all of this to say, I see the story and I see how good it is. You see, it's darker now. I want to go out. I don't know why. I had this need to go outside. Um, it's nuts. It's really nuts because this fucking game, dude. And Devil May Cry 4 was also the story, and you meet Dante, and you know Dante is the hero of previous game. But because I didn't play the other Devil May Cry, I'm like, I know this is Dante. I don't know who Dante is, right? I don't really know who he is. Like, okay. Then you finish the game and you realize that it's a very emotional game. You realize that the good guys are actually the bad guys. That Dante was a good guy all along, right? And there's always there's this really good scene. Devil May Cry 4 to me is almost a perfect game. It's almost a perfect game. So, and it's nuts because, okay, so let's start with the first one. Good. Perfect. So the first one, and the whole game is between Nero and Dante, and Nero has his Devil Bringer arm, right, which is a demon arm, and you don't know where it's from, and he's absorbing power through that arm. Versus Dante, who does the same tragic as him, right, and he's getting weapon from these bosses, you know. And I want to make sure that there's volume there because that way you record the volume too, and just a beautiful game, and you have those two main character that are both gaining strength and both defeating demon, right? And the coolest thing is the first one is Nero. He comes in and he beats some of the devil, right? And then you got Dante at the end finishing them, which is actually really cool. And you're like, holy shit, that's crazy. And then the whole time you're wondering why the Sanctus the Cold is the bad guy, right? But my favorite part is the final boss. The final boss was a fucking angel. He looks like an angel. He's a devil, but he looks like an angel. And there's always this scene where Dante's like, yo, this is your turn, kid. And it's Nero. I just fell in love with that, right? I just fell in love with that. And then I played the first one, which I really, really enjoyed. And the funniest thing about it is, I played the fourth one, and I bought the third. Okay, so this is not true. We have one game. Okay, so I didn't buy the tree. I bought one game that has a tree on it. So we have the first one, the second one, the third one, right? And I really enjoyed those games. And I remember them being one of the first things that I streamed. And I never played those games before. Once again, never played those games before. And it's one of the first games that I streamed. And I fell in love with that. And I fell in love with the Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3. Then they released a Devil May Cry remake, and I actually really enjoyed that game. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy that game, but I did enjoy that game. We had a story, we had the backstory of Dante and Virgil, and we had the reason why Virgil's an asshole, the reason why Dante is nice, right? You had the reason why the devil, he has a devil bringer. You have the reason his parents got together. There's Nephilim, right? Between angel and devil, you have a Mundus, which is again the main bad guy and the first game. So it's actually a really good remake, right? And you got a really good way of doing this, right? And even then, Devil May Cry remake, the thing that he does the best, because we're gonna go with all of this title, right? You're gonna say why it's such important to me. The thing that he does best is show the real world and show how it's influenced by the devil. One of my favorite thing is there's a drink called virility, and it's actually poison. It's actually poison. So people are drinking it. It's actually poison, right? But they're selling it as something that's amazing, right? So the remake was actually good. The remake, I think the story is great. Um, there's some long part. There's some part that feels long a little bit. There's a really good game, and you get the weapons. You get some of the weapons from your father. You get some of the weapons from your mom, and you play as Dante, which is super cool. You play as a younger Dante, which is a badass. It's a really, really good game. And ultimately speaking, the combat system is actually really cool. The first game is where I started having problem. But again, the first game is a PS1 game. The first one, it didn't age well. There's graphic problem. But at the same time, it's such a beautiful game. You got Dante, and he's helping this girl called Trish. And Trish, he helps her because she looks like his mom. Right? Right? And it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing because like you understand why he's helping her because she looks like his mom, right? And his mom, she betrays him and she betrays him and she betrays him, and Dante still helps her, right? And just the way it finishes. The last thing he says is he has this business for killing demon, right? For killing devil, and there's no name for killing devil, and it's such a powerful moment. Of at the end, it says, "Devil never cry." And it says, "Devil may cry." It's beautiful, and it's because it's Dante that cries. So I thought Devil didn't cry, right? It's a beautiful thing. But when you hear the title Devil May Cry, it's like it's a kind of like not necessarily aggressive, but somewhat aggressive. But the sun is not strong. There's a lot of cloud outside, I guess. It's kind of aggressive. Devil May Cry is in my book was I'll fuck you up so badly you're gonna cry, right? The second one, narratively, one of the weakest. There's this whole story about a island, and you're supposed to go there, but it doesn't. It does feel like Dante. It does feel. It doesn't feel like Devil May Cry. It feels like Dante on a story, on a side quest, right? But then again, those games are beautiful because those games are they're fucking amazing in the sense that they're an hour and a half, 2 hours and a half. So they're super quick. So when I first started streaming, I was looking at those games as the small playthrough. The reason as to why is because as a small content creator, I wanted to do okay. You know what I want to do? I want to have as much game as possible finished, so that way people that are visiting. So for example, right, you can do a playthrough like Skyrim. That's 120 part. That takes you 120 hours. If somebody doesn't like Skyrim, they're not gonna care about your channel. However, if you have multiple games, then they'll check you out for other games. That's a plan, right? Devil May Cry 2, I don't remember in which one it is. Devil May Cry 2 felt a lot weaker, but one of my favorite boss in both of them, I don't remember which one it is. There's like a dragon head and it's throwing fireball, and you have to use your sword and you have to throw them like a baseball. And for a previous game, really hard to do. Devil May Cry 3 is for me one of the first, and again, is the game that the guy showed me, is an amazing game. Devil May Cry 3, in my opinion, is my favorite. Is gonna be okay. So it's gonna be the fourth, right? The third, right? The remake, right? Fifth and one, fifth, one and two. So once again, 4, 3, remake, 5, 1, and 2. That is 6 games, guys. 6 fucking games. So the third one why it's so good in my book. The fourth one was the better one because the story is as good. Well, technically speaking, I think the story in the third one is actually really good. And it's amazing. But the story of the third is it's just the reason they do things that I had a little problem with. So you got two main characters in the third one, which is Virgil and Dante. So Dante comes in and he's like, "Yo, your brother Virgil did something bad. He woke up a tower of demons, right?" And Dante's like, why did he do that, right? And then you fight, and then he asks Virgil, why are you doing what he's doing? And Virgil is, in my book, he's one of the perfect demon. One of the perfect antagonists. There's a reason why people like Virgil so much. There's a people like Virgil so much, and the reason is actually quite simple. So basically, by the way, basically, Dante is made from a book called Dante's Inferno, and in that book, Virgil is the guide, is the person that guides him in a lot of cases, right? That's also important to understand. That's also important to see. Good. Now we had the second part. The second part being that Virgil acts like a guide, but in the game he's also acting like a guide, right? So Dante and Virgil, and it's really, really, really powerful. This is why I love Devil May Cry so much. It's really powerful in the sense that in the first game, right, you have this character called you have this character called Dante. You don't know who he is. You don't know what he does. But if you say the remake, you understand that. Okay, well, guess what? We know why Virgil is the way he is. We know why he is. He got betrayed. Virgil saw himself as the leader of the world, a leader because he was Nephilim. He was neither. So the way he sees things, Virgil. So you're supposed to understand. You're supposed to kind of choose between Dante and Virgil. Virgil's like, yo, these people, these humans need to be ruled. Better than us, me and you, Dante, because we're both angel and we're both devil, right? So we're in the perfect of balance, right? And Dante's like, no, no, human needs to choose for themselves. Human needs to be the one that chooses which path they want to get, right? Which is why they're different. But in the third one, you see that Virgil, because he got betrayed, Virgil understand that he's not gonna get the world to himself, as long as somebody like Dante lives. So he wants to get stronger. He wants to get stronger. So he summoned the tower of the demon, and he gets manipulated to do so. He gets manipulated by a demon. I don't remember the name of the demon, but he gets manipulated. I think it's Mundus too, but I'm not sure. And it's funny because the very first scene, and this is such a blessing, and it's such a blessing to see the very first scene, and it's one of my favorite scenes. I even do a clip of it. I even did a clip of it. So I'm not gonna show you because I'm playing Star Tokyo Ghoul, and the people I want to give them Tokyo Ghoul, you know. So basically, what happened is they fight, right? And Dante loses that fight, and Dante gets to get the amulet, of which is the key to the door to the other realm. So Dante gets killed. He doesn't get killed because he's immortal. So Virgil continue, right? And this is the exact perfect representation of Devil May Cry. So in the first remake, you get a character called Kat. Kat is a human that's helping Virgil. She has a link between. She's able to link the demon world and the human world, right? And because she's able to do that, she's able to defeat the demon there. So there's a moment in the end where Virgil, you see that Kat's in danger, and he doesn't help her. It's like, well, fuck you. Too bad. And Dante's like, what are you doing, dude? And this is the reason why Dante understands that Virgil is not a good guy. He's the reason why Dante start second guessing Virgil. Like, should I trust you? Right? And the nicest part about the third one is the same thing happened. So the demon that controls Virgil has a daughter. That daughter is called Lady. I'm not, she has a name, but I call her Lady because Dante calls her Lady. And Lady is trying to stop her father, right? And Dante helps her. And she's like, I don't want you to help you, fucking devil. Like, we don't have a choice. I'm gonna help you no matter what. So the story continue. And then what ended up happening is she ends up thinking that Dante's a nice guy. And she's helping them. And then you got Virgil, who it just got fooled, dude. It just got fooled. The nicest part about the game is you see the two characters and they're in the same tower. One of my favorite games as a kid was, weirdly speaking, GBA, Chain of Memories. So Kingdom Hearts. So again, you have the two characters, Sora and Riku. Riku's embraced darkness, but then he's trying to redeem himself, and Sora is trying to help Riku, right? So what ends up happening is you got two paths, and that first path is Sora trying to help his friend, and Riku trying to save himself, right? So on paper, Sora is a good guy, but Riku's still trying to do something. See, Virgil's trying to do something good. He truly believes that he's the ruler. It doesn't mean that he's gonna be an asshole. He doesn't mean it. In the fifth one, he becomes an asshole, and that's how we see it. But yeah, so what ended up happening, which is a really good story, is that Dante gets destroyed in the third one, and there's this scene where he's jumping down the tower, and he's going down and he's running like Goku, and it's such a badass scene. It's really a badass game. And yeah, so the third one is actually phenomenal. Narratively speaking, it's the best game. Narratively speaking. See, the fourth one is good. The fourth one is good, but the fourth one is there's a little bit of a there's a little mistake that they do. So the fourth one is your the beginning of fourth one is amazing. Dante is possibly a villain, okay? And we think that Dante's a villain. We think that Dante's a villain. Now they do a mistake. About halfway through the game, they make a big mistakes. They show that the guild are actually bad guy. And to me, this reveal is a bit too early. Let me ask myself the question: is Dante a good guy? A bit more. And because you see that every time that Nero comes in and he talks about the guild, you know that he's being fooled. And to me, it's better that you're questioning who's the right guy. You got the fourth one I already talked about. The fourth one, okay, let's talk about the narrative because we didn't talk about the narrative. The fourth one, once again, we got a guild and they're demon and they're trying to open the demon world once again. We're trying to summon the demon because they understand that there's students of the demon and they'll still have a place, right? And they have Nero, even though that he has his arm, and they're making like studies on him, right? Which is really cool. And the funny thing about the cult is they each have a demon side, which is fantastic. The fifth one, I'm gonna be honest and say I didn't like it. So the story is amazing. The story is really, 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 really cool. So you get Nero once again, and Nero at the end, he loses his arm, right? He lost his arm. So every time you have to beat a demon, once again you get a new power. So and you'll get a power from that beast. And there's another girl, I don't remember her name, but she'll craft a weapon for you. She'll craft a weapon for you. She'll craft an arm for you. So you're able to have like 25 arms. Story-wise, it's amazing. So once again, we have this character called Iruzen, which is the devil, the worship of the devil, and he completely conquers the world. Right? He even eats apples, and he becomes super strong. Right? I think it's a reference to the Garden of Eden, but I'm not sure. That's fucked, bro. I was supposed to go out. I would have loved to go out. Fuck. You know? And it's odd. It's odd. It sucks because the fifth one has such potential. And then you meet this guy, a character called V, and I don't like V. V comes in and he's basically reading Dante's Inferno, which is really cool. And V comes in, it's like, oh, I need your help. I need your help. I need your help. The story of V and Virgil is fantastic. The story is actually really good. You get those demon, and it's kind of cool because you can tell that Dante and Virgil as really Dante and Nero has really spent time together because Nero's a bit more like Dante's a bit more badass versus a good person. Well, not a good person, but he's a good soldier. He's more like Dante, right? And what it ends up happening is the first thing that you do when you're in the game is you play as Dante and you go beat Eruzen, and Eruzen is too strong. So then Dante, what ends up happening, he's like, yo, no matter what, I'll beat him. So he stays in the underworld and he's stuck. So you have to play with Nero and V. And V, what is the coolest thing about V is he's a shitty character, but he has a really cool thing. So he ends up more and more being weak and weaker and weaker. Then you realize that V is actually part of Virgil. So it's the human part of Virgil. So Virgil in his quest to get strength, when we remember that Virgil was an angel and a devil, he chose the devil side, right? So this is why he's Iruzen. So the more he's able to kill V, the more he's able to embrace that darkness, right? And then the coolest thing is, and I really, really enjoy the fifth one. I'm gonna tell you why I don't fucking like it. I hate the fifth one. I hate it. There's a reason for that, but I'll tell you after. So what ends up happening is it's odd. It's really odd. It's really, really odd. So what ends up happening is we fight it, and then we realize that Virgil is Eruzen, and then we realize that Nero is the son of Virgil. So Nero's like, hey, guess what? I want to be with you, right? And once again, we got the entire recipe, but Devil May Cry is so well written. It's so well written. So what ended up happening, we have a problem. So it's again Dante versus Virgil, right? Until Nero gets involved, right? And that's the best thing. That's the best fucking thing. So Virgil getting involved, he's able to separate the two. And the nicest thing about Dante and Virgil is they told Nero, this is your turn now. So Dante sacrificed himself. He sacrificed himself and time, okay? So he's like, okay, well, I know that it's very similar to Goku and Vegeta if you think about it. Goku being able to maintain the evil Vegeta, which literally replaced with Frieza, right? Because Vegeta becomes a good person. But more so than that, it's the fact that you can understand that Virgil will not stop. Like, okay, well, I'll fight him. I'll follow him, and I'll follow him, and I'll fight him. So they're going to the underworld, and they're deciding to fight together till the very end of time. And then we got Nero that take care of it. The reason why I don't like the game is actually super simple. That in microtransaction. So in the main game, what was really, really cool about the combat system, and again, we're going to talk about the combat system later on, but the better you did, the better you ended up doing. It's a very hard game to think about it. Now, it was based on skill. It's basically a get good, right? And then the fifth one, they had it. You can buy life, you can buy potion, you can buy with money revive. So it wasn't a question of skills, which is actually stupid. Now, the combat system is actually quite simple to resume, to recap. So what happened is, the better you fight, so the more weapon you use, the more different moves you use, the better is your score. So you go from D to SSSS, which is super smoking sexy, SSSS. And what is really cool about that is the better you do, the more red orbs you get. The more red orbs you get, the more you can upgrade the character. The worse you do, the less red orb, the less you can upgrade the character. So then what ended up happening at the end of the game, the more you can upgrade your character, the easier it is. But if you didn't upgrade your character, you're kind of fucked, right? So you had a motivation to actually go and get the higher score. So it was a really, really good game. And Devil May Cry, once again, it's such a series. It's the first game series that I've played that I really enjoyed. So I'm going to tell you about other games. I'm going to tell you about Final Fantasy. Do I like the whole entirety of Final Fantasy? No. There's a lot of games that I dislike. Do I like the old Kingdom Hearts? Kingdom Hearts would have been my first series that I would have loved. I'm going to be honest and say I love Chain of Memories. I love 358 Days. I love the first one. I love Bird by Sleep. I love the second one. I didn't like Dream Drop Distance, and I didn't like the third one. I don't like the series. Zelda. I haven't played the series. Pokemon. I haven't played the series. Tell me another one. Borderlands. I didn't like Tiny Tina. I'm sorry. Otherwise, I would have loved the series completely. I love pre-sequel. I love the second one. I love the first one. I love the third one. I don't like Tiny Tina. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I did like the Tale of Borderland. Sorry. That was probably the only series that I ever fucking loved from beginning to an end. And that's your video. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.